Hi, everybody. We're going to talk today about intervals because our goal is to be able to sight sing in a choral rehearsal so that we can learn our music more quickly. And intervals, the word interval is simply defined as the distance between two notes. So when you're looking at your music, it's very unusual that your entire part is written in scales. One da 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 da, not that common. So we have to be able to sing distances. Dum 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 da da dum. What are all those skips? What are they? And how do we talk about them? And how can I use vocabulary that will help you understand what you're trying to sing? And the more you get those intervals into your ear, the easier sight singing is. So first of all, let's deal with the vocabulary. The vocabulary is based on the distance that two notes have together in sort of a numerical way. So if the lower note is 1 and the upper note is then however many notes away that is. So for instance, a C to a D is a 1 to a 2. And a 1 to a 2 we call a second. A C to an E is a 1 to a 3, and we call that a third. A C to an F is a 1 to a 4, and we call that a fourth. I think you're beginning to pick up the pattern. A C to a G is called a fifth. A C to an A is called a sixth. A C to a B, we're always going up here. A C to a B is a seventh. And a C to the next C is called an octave. You can call it an eighth, but other than in textbooks, nobody uses that term. We just call it an octave. So I'm sitting at the piano and I'm going to play those for you. And I want you to really listen and pay attention because it should make perfect sense. Here's a scale. Here's the first note of the scale. Here's the second note. So when you play them either apart or together, either way they constitute 1 to 2, and that's a second. That's called a major second. 1 to 2 in a major scale. 1, 2, 3. 1 to 3. That's called a third. We like the sound of thirds a lot better than the sound of seconds. Seconds seems like a dissonance, because it is, and third, a consonance. We like to sing in thirds. Okay, 1 to 4. That's a perfect fourth. Played separately, played together. And here's a fifth. 1 to 5. That's called a perfect fifth. Perfect fourths and perfect fifths are extremely important in our Western harmony. We use them all the time to harmonize. That's 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 to 6. Played together. That's a consonant interval. All of those are, but that's second. That's really dissonant. So this is the sixth. Then we have 1 to 7. Very far apart. 1 to 7. Played together, they sound like, that's extremely dissonant, like a second was. And then guess what? The ultimate consonant, the octave. So let's try singing those. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8. And if that reminds you of something that we have done in chorus rehearsal, it's because I do it all the time. I want those intervals in your mind. A second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, an eighth. Now that's a major second, a major third, a perfect fourth, a perfect fifth, a major sixth, a major seventh, and a perfect octave. There are other kinds of intervals besides major and perfect, but in a major scale, those are the only ones that exist. So we're dealing with major scales right now, and all of those intervals are either called major or perfect, or major or perfect. Now, if you look at this piece of paper that I gave you, it says lesson 11 at the top. You will see the intervals written out that I just played. By the way, if you play from this to this, it's called a prime. It's not an interval I really think about very much, but 1 to 1 is a prime. That's the term they use. Now you notice underneath the top line, I wrote 2 half steps. If you look at a piano keyboard or a drawing of a piano keyboard, which I gave you a while ago, you'll notice that because there's a black note between C and D, this is actually 2 half steps. This 1 to 2 is actually 2 half steps. 1, 2 half steps. 1 to 3 is 4 half steps. 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, 4 half steps. This is 5 half steps, and so forth. I've given you the numbers of half steps. Sometimes that's helpful when you're thinking about intervals, particularly in a different key from this one. Speaking of different keys, I've given you the same intervals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and octave in 3 other keys and in 1 other clef, just to give you some other ways to look at things. The second one is the key of F, F major that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, and 1 to 8, or 1. 1, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh octave. And then we have the same thing in the key of G. Here's the scale. Here's 1. So here's 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 1 to 8. So this is a second, major second. This is a major third, major fourth, perfect fourth, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, perfect octave. And then in B flat in the bass clef, I wrote, here's the prime. Okay. Then we have 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, and 1 to 8. So this is a second, perfect major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, perfect octave. It doesn't matter what key you're in. If it's a major scale, they all sound exactly like that. And the number of half steps is always the same. There are no changes. If a major scale is a major scale, and a major second, a major sixth, perfect fourth, they all work like this. They all sound like this, and you should be able to do it vocally without the help of a keyboard. You should be able to sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then sing intervals. 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. You should be able to do that in your ear and out of your mouth, and it's something that we do in rehearsal all the time because it's such an important skill. Those are the ingredients in a piece of music. Unless the composer changes key, those are the ingredients in a piece of music. Now, at the bottom of that page, down here, I have given you a homework assignment. Name these intervals. So I am going to play those intervals for you, and I'm going to see if you can figure them out by ear. So I'm not going to tell you the answers, okay? But you have the information in front of you, and you have the information through your ear. So this is line 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. That's the first line. I think that's all I'll do. If you can do those by ear after you've listened to this a couple of times, you will have made big progress. Now I've also given you a second sheet that says name these intervals. And it is just more of the same. Down at the bottom of the page, you'll see the list of possibilities. Prime, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and perfect octave. Those are your choices. One of those is the right answer. And that's the way we usually abbreviate those, with a P or a capital M. Capital M refers to major. Later on, when we get to minor intervals, lowercase m refers to minor, but we're going to be just using major right now. You need to look very carefully at the beginning of the line to be sure you know what key the exercise is written in. Sorry, that was shading me. What key is the exercise written in? Is it C, F, G, B flat? One of those. And what clef have I used? Because I did throw in some bass clef. So you really need to pay attention to what you're looking at. And then you should be able to figure out what the interval is by looking. So let's do a couple of those on the piano too. Top line of the page that says name these intervals at the top. The top line, here we go. Oh, that's supposed to be an octave. I left out a note, I'm sorry. Third one. Fourth. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 5. Number 6. Oh, I forget what number I'm on now. And the last one on the top line. Those are all intervals where the bottom number is 1 and you just have to figure out how far apart. Now here's one thing you can do if you're having difficulty with this. Look at the paper, look at the first note, call it 1. Look at the second note. How far away from 1 is that note? And the way you count that is you start with the first note and call it 1. And then you count all the lines and spaces and the second note. So in this case, it's 1 is on the bottom space, and the second note in the interval is on the second space, and there's a line between them. So we have space, line, space. So that's 3 half steps. And it's not. It's more than 3 half steps, but it's a third. 1 to 3. It's a third. Look at the 1, 2, 3, fourth measure of that, and count the bottom space up to the third space. Space, line, space, line, space. That's a fifth, because I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space, line, space, line, space. 5. That's a fifth. That's how you can figure it out. That's a perfect fifth. So that's the right answer. I would like you to go through all of these and see if you can write the answer and see if you can hear them. Go back to the exercise where I played some of them, and see if you can hear it. Go slowly, stop it, and see if you can, maybe if you have a keyboard, you could play them and then sing it, ta-da, and stop looking at it and think about what that sounds like. Now, I've given you one more thing, and it's in your email, and it is a list of the intervals, starting with a perfect octave and working down to prime. And no, I don't think I included prime, working down to a major second. And a tune that uses that interval to start the tune. So for an octave, for instance, I gave you Valley High. I hope you know that song. Younger people don't, but I would like younger people to write to me and tell me what song I should use instead of that for the octave. So Valley High, 1, 8, 7. That's useful for finding 8 and finding 7. So if you have an octave written in your music and you're having trouble finding that note, you might just write Valley High above it. I find that so incredibly helpful. And so there's a list of tunes that go with each of the intervals, and that will help you remember what the intervals sound like. Okay? So everybody do some homework on this one, because I'm going to keep coming back to it. Doing intervals is a really crucial part of learning how to sight sing. Anyway, it's an incredibly hot day. I hope you're finding ways to be cool. And I hope that I will see some of you in the course of East Providence on a Zoom meeting for the whole chorus tomorrow evening. I believe it's at 7. Judy Antonio is sending or has sent an email invitation to you asking you to join us. Everybody, just a friendly get together. It would be good to see a few more faces than I've seen. I've been going to some soprano meetings, but I haven't seen the rest of the chorus, and I miss you. So I hope some of you show up for the Zoom meeting tomorrow night. That's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And in the meantime, have a good day. See if you can keep cool. Find some cool thing to do tonight. And I'll be in touch in a couple days. Thanks. Bye.